So remember ISIS? What happened to them? On Sunday's New York Times, Rod Nordland writes about 1,000 ISIS dirtbags surrendering to Kurdish authorities.
Yes.
This is huge, Kimberly.
I love it.
Remember when martyrdom was their only option? Now these so-called warriors meekly give up. Why now? It's not hard to figure out. The only way to beat ISIS was to disprove the thesis that an Islamic State was inevitable. And to do that was through humiliating, crushing defeats. The only reason why ISIS was around so long was that we wouldn't do that. And their grisly propaganda proceeded unabated, persuading entire cities to flee instead of fight. The longer we waited, you saw it, the worse it got. But coming at them, bombing the crap out of them, killing everyone they know, it seems to work. Who would have thought? Oh, yeah, President Trump. It's something for which he gets no credit. He's literally ending ISIS. It won't be the end of jihadism, but for now, the dreams of a state are over. Their terrain is shrinking. Sometimes a full frontal assault is the most strategic idea, and it beats Obama's dithering, all that ever got us was the paralysis of analysis. So laugh all you want about the tired phrase, there's a new sheriff in town. I think ISIS got that message. And while we have to be careful of the mission accomplished syndrome, what is undeniable is that ISIS is off the front pages and on their last legs. One hopes Kim Jong-un is watching. Yes, I wrapped it all up.
Indeed.
Take it away, everybody. Jesse, what do you think? Big news. No one's caring because everything else is covering it up.
I agree. I mean, ISIS, the strategy is taking hold. That Trump said in Saudi Arabia that he was going to have these Muslims drive them out, and they are. So it's the Kurdish military, the Arab militias, and the Iraqi forces. They've now toppled 3 strongholds, Mosul, Tel Afar, and Hawija. Raqqa is now the last stronghold. It's surrounded at this point.
Yep.
It could fall by the end of the year. We learned some valuable lessons here. 1, ISIS fighters, cowards. 2, loosening the rules of engagement, letting boots on the ground do their job, and then fighting them instead of containing them is actually an effective strategy. And the Iraqi military has come a long way since when Bush trained them. Remember those little videos where they were like hopping over things? That's gone. These guys are doing a great job. We also learned that everything President Obama said about ISIS was wrong. He said more boots on the ground was going to inflame the situation. He said more U.S. presence there was going to bog us down into a quagmire. And he also said there needed to be a political solution before there was a military solution. Turns out the military solution came first, and it's working. What I would like to see, though, is I would like to see more camera teams embedded in some of these battlefields, because then the American people can see the sacrifices that we're making.
Volunteering?
No, but here's the thing. Yeah. Here's my theory on why there are no cameras there, because we are killing everything and they don't want to show it, and they're doing it in a way that might be experimental. They might be using stuff that, like drones and stuff that we don't know about. So that's why I think we're not seeing a damn thing.
And by the way, I think you have no problem with that, because I think you want the end result and the outcome.
I'm pro-drone.
Yes, absolutely. You always are. And what I think is important, and Jesse, you touched on this, is the Kurdish Peshmerga. What an elite fighting force, and they have really done a tremendous job along with their allies. And like you said, it's pretty much only Raqqa, and they have them contained in little pockets in Raqqa. So I think they just need to wipe them out all the way so they're not even JV team like Obama used to claim. But the interesting part is all of these members of ISIS, these fighters that are surrendering, okay, the ones that aren't, they're going into Afghanistan to try to fight the U.S. and Western forces there. So keep an eye on that. And that's hence the escalation and doing more, troops and stuff and forces in Afghanistan to help combat that. But where are all the ISIS guys that are surrendering going to go? Who is going to take care and control of them? And are they going to be released back out into Europe, where they can continue being radicalized or join with other groups or have cells and pockets to, in fact, commit other acts of terror? So I think that's a really important piece.
Gitmo. Send them to Gitmo.
Well, put another floor on it or 2.
That's right.
One, why hasn't President Trump been awarded the Nobel Prize for this? Because he clearly deserves this.
Oh, is that right?
Great point.
Yeah.
You took the words right out of one.
Yeah, really?
I mean, these are
was it words or was it
These are modern-day Nazis. These are modern-day Nazis.
No, these are... Look, I can't tell you. I am all for the decimation of ISIS. Go for it. But remember, when you said, let's not say mission accomplished...
Oh, I agree.
Hey, I'm all for that, because guess what? Everything... In fact, Kimberly was just pointing this out. What's going to happen inside of Syria? We don't know.
Yeah.
Nothing. Oh, Jesse says additional troops. No, really, we put a few more specific trainers and fighters on the ground to work with Iraqi forces, and especially Kurdish forces. Guess what? The Turks don't want anything to do. And guess what? The Iraqis say the United States, by supporting the Kurdish forces, is dividing their country and contrary to their interests and interfering in their domestic affairs. I'm remembering.
Only one can turn a positive story about winning in Iraq into all these bad things.
Let me get Jillian.
There's a further point here. Okay, well, I don't want to just come in and be a downer. So the good news first is that Greg is right.
Yeah.
Major military victories on the ground in Iraq and Syria against ISIS, undeniably. And they cannot have a state, any legitimate claims to statehood without land. Okay, now are you ready for the bad news?
Okay.
You're going to get it anyway.
Okay.
The bad news is that the battlefield is no longer in Iraq and Syria. The battlefield has migrated into cyberspace. The battlefield today, 4 years into this battle, is now largely online. And while we are denying them safe havens, while we are killing their forces, they are attracting more and faster than ever before online. And that's where this part about combating the ideology comes in. And that's a point where President Obama was right, President Trump is right, everybody continues to point this out. Yet we're not very good at combating that. So we have major strides to go before we can declare mission accomplished. Unfortunately, I wish we could declare mission accomplished.
Yeah. I just think killing them is a good thing.
It's a great thing.
It's
a great thing. That's why I started with the good news.
Right? Otherwise, it's on us again.
Say that 5 times.
Well, that's the problem. And by the way, the majority of them that are captured, they're like, hey, yeah, my bad. I was just with ISIS for like a month. Yeah. I'm actually a really good cook.
That's what they say.
I was a clerk, and I just want to go work and live in America at McDonald's.
Yeah, they should put them in front of a stove and be like, all right, whip something up. Let's see.
Offer a proof.
Isn't that funny? You are far more forgiving than I am. I would like, get out of here.
And then we shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
Okay.